Okay everyone, this is Wesley Edholm, and today we are speaking with Nick Jones from the Jones family farm on Lopez Island in the Pacific Northwest of Washington State. In this interview, we're going to get into how consumer convenience culture has helped to ruin Nick's commercial fishing business, how he and his wife Sarah began farming in the first place, why they are phasing out of the local farmers markets, and the multiplier effect of a shellfish farm. Also, how they are working with other producers and buyers in the islands to build an atomized distribution network that will distribute food efficiently. So Nick, without further ado, please give us an introduction into how the Jones family farm came to be.
What we are is Jones Family Farms. It's Sarah and I, and then our two boys. And right now we have three other people working for us more or less full time. And we produce a variety of mainly protein products. Originally we started off commercial fishing. That was my life, and that was my sort of dream. And then I met my wife Sarah, who grew up farming, and we started segueing into farming, which was a good thing. It was a good complement to the fishing in the early years. The seasonality of it meshed up well, and you combine something like farming, which is steady and low profit, with something like fishing, which is extremely erratic but can be quite high profit. And the two worked together very well for a number of years. We provided fresh fish in season and then frozen fish, smoked fish to a variety of venues throughout the year. And then, we got into farming, raising grass-fed beef cattle, expanded it to hogs and then goats and then a little bit of poultry. And as all this was developing and we started to do better, we ended up buying a shellfish farm here on Lopez Island, which had been inactive for a little while, but the permits were still valid, which is all important in that sphere. And we bought that almost exactly 4 years ago now. And then we started having children, and the fishery started to fall apart. Fisheries have their ups and their downs, and I have no real prediction as to how long this downspell will last. When we first got into it, we rode a really nice cycle of increased abundance, and the state was being very accommodating of efforts to tailor fisheries to custom marketing, and there weren't that many people fishing, and we were able to move large volumes of fresh fish. There was still very much a culture of fish preservation and smoking and freezing in the county. And then a combination of us having children and then the fisheries declining started to push us out of that. And also we saw a really marked change in the consumer habits of fish buying, where people, when we started, they'd come and buy 10 fish and put them in the freezer or can them. And I look back now, a lot of the folks that we dealt with in that era, they're gone now. They've passed on, or they're getting elderly and can't handle fish to the same degree. And that was, that demographic was people who had grown up here in the islands. Maybe they'd fished, maybe family members had fished, and they grew up knowing how to deal with large volumes of fish. And that's gone now, and it was being replaced by more of a convenience consumer. All of this is to say that the market changed, the resource changed, and our lives changed, and we're now in the process of getting out of fishing and focusing more on the other operations. So what we do now is our farming is in pretty full tilt. We're producing, we're the largest producer in the county of grass-fed beef, and we do significant, some numbers of hogs and meat goats. We're getting more into poultry and a little bit into produce. So again, as the family grows, we're eating more and more of that kind of stuff. And then we have our shellfish farm, which is just in the early phases of development, but we're supplying about 20 markets, restaurants, stores in the county with oysters and clams. We're very, very proud to do so. That's a wonderful thing. And I guess our main, the motivations extend from the obvious of needing to make a living and wanting a life that we can share with our family, to feeling very strongly about the honesty and integrity of producing food as a way of life. And then we also both, for any number of reasons, believe very strongly in the historical importance, community importance of maintaining a functional, resource-based economy here. And as developments in the recent months have shown, farming, which was looking like a ridiculous career choice was starting to look a little better. And we're very proud of what we've achieved. We're very proud of the participation that we have in our community and the place that we have in it. It's been a fun ride, and we're looking forward to doing more. It's having been at it now for 8 years, you can look around at where we are and think, boy, we're just barely getting started. We're just barely starting to figure out what we're doing. And again, you talk to folks who have been doing it for 40 years, and they say the same thing. And that's part of the appeal of it all. So that's our operation in a nutshell. Do you have any questions?
How much off-island business do you do?
In increasing amount. We're working on doing more throughout the winter to even out our cash flow, because as we all know, the county goes through wild swings, and we've hit a point of wanting to keep our helpers going year-round, not wanting to, throttle way back in the winter and then scramble to catch up in the spring. So we've been doing an increasing amount of business off-island, and we're really looking forward to developing that as an alternate plan in the years to come. There's a shellfish farm on Arcus that specializes in island sales in the summer and off-island sales in the winter, and that seems like a pretty exciting model to pursue.
So as far as getting the local hotels and bed and breakfasts buying through you, would you say that is a significant target for your business?
Well, dealing with smaller local providers has to be a very clear, conscious decision for island businesses. It can't, the fit takes extra effort, so both sides have to be committed to it. And we really pride ourselves in the way that we deal with our customers and the relationships that we have built with our wholesale customers. And I think that's largely reflective of the fact that the people that we deal with are those who kind of philosophically came around to the idea of working with local providers. And such that we found it doesn't really make any sense to pursue markets that are not interested in extending themselves to work with a local provider.
Right.
once they do, we're here, and we try to let people know that.